We now have the power washer at the house we're fixing up for a rent. The pickup's looking a little dirty now, so I'll go ahead and hit it with the power washer and see if I can wash some of that dust off as I go past it to wash the logs. It seems to be a good idea to wash the logs off, and you get rid of all that dirt and little rocks embedded in the bark so you don't dull your chainsaw blade when we're sawing. After a brief but rather thorough washing, it's now time to get the saw ready and see what kind of luck we have sawing.
Because it wasn't the right size for my saw, I had to readjust.
I didn't expect it would be.
But it's going right on.
I was making some wedges. We have never used this Alaska sawmill before, so we're anxious to get started on it. Matter of fact, we were a little too anxious. It makes me shudder to think we never had any of the required safety equipment. There are chaps that you should have, and we did have ear protectors and eye protectors, but that's really important to have those chaps. They certainly pay for themselves if that saw kicks back. This is a family affair. My grandson Joe will be helping saw the logs down to a little smaller size so we can load them on a trailer and haul them over to our home where we have a band sawmill to saw them into lumber. I finished the task of washing the logs off a little bit while Joe tightens the chainsaw into the little Alaska mill, and we're getting it ready to go. Pretty soon we'll hook it on the log. It seemed quite simple just to hook the sawmill up to the log and also to hook the sawmill together, but we weren't being careful enough. We didn't have the bolts quite tight enough in the sawmill. So as a result of this, the saw settled down a little bit, and it made the cut get deeper and deeper as it went along. And so we ended up with sort of a crooked cut. Not too bad, but some. So we tightened the sawmill onto the saw, and we're going to give it another quick try in just a little bit. But then when we started to saw, we found this, or got ready to saw, this darn saw wouldn't start, and it had got flooded but bad. So we'll have to wait till the next day to give it another try. We've learned some lessons. One of them is to have the safety equipment there before you ever start. That we had no accidents, but we were lucky. But the chance certainly isn't worth taking. And The next is to get everything set up and tight, and maybe reading the directions beforehand might help a little bit. So our next session, we're going to have everything ready to go and try it again and hopefully have some better luck this time. Although the time before, we got a couple logs small enough that Ben can probably load them on the trailer. We've learned that you have to keep the everything tight and keep it going the same direction. So we'll have to tighten the ladder down really good so it doesn't rock. That's one of the secrets to sawing a straight cut, we learned. We cut plumber's tape or pipe strap to go around the rungs of the ladder and then screwed them securely to the log. And then we had a piece of lumber I cut, and we screwed it onto the ladder and onto the end of the log. So we should be able to hold it reasonably steady now, hopefully. The chainsaw roars as we start our cut, and it looks good at first anyway, so let's hope that we finally got it adjusted right. The log is a little too big for the chainsaw mill, so there's nothing wrong with it though that Joe can't fix with his trusty axe. We want to saw these logs really good and take good care of them. We need to treat them with respect. These logs are a few hundred years old, and the Indians took care of them just because they like to eat the acorns off from them in this oak grove, we think. And so they need to be taken care of. And we've got a few new ones started now and want to get some more good new trees started. And these are the white oaks, and they're not easy to come by. The chainsaw roars, and the smoke from the saw goes skyward, and the chips start falling down on the ground. That is the sawdust, and it's not making a whole bunch. The chain's not cutting a real wide groove in the log, and that's good. The more log we save, the better off we are. And we're just cutting them down to a manageable size where we can bring them home and cut them on the bandsaw mill, which will make a lot better, lot smaller curve in the log, preserving more of the log. It seems like a good sharp chainsaw chain seems to be the secret to it, and it just walks right through that log in not much time at all. Wow, what a pretty oak.
Ready to roll it?
Can you drive that in again?
There's no doubt about it. These oak are much heavier than any logs we've ever dealt with, and a lot more dense. So we tried to roll it with the PV and had no luck on it. So eventually I hooked on it with the pickup, did what they call put a roll on the log. That is, hook a chain or a rope around the log to where when you pull on it, it rolls. Now we'll attach the ladder to it and start our milling process once more on this log.
Should we set it over there when we're done, Joe? Yeah. We can set it face up.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. It has, the strip is on both ends. Oh, nice. Strip runs right down the middle.
You know what? I think we could just try and cut us a 2-inch slab off of this guy.
Nice.
Okay.
Or 3-inch.
Joe's removing a little bit of that old thick bark. That's thick old deep-ridged bark, and our saw blade isn't, our saw bar isn't long enough to reach through. Ben's now here to to start seeing if he can load some of these logs. Some of these logs are just a little too big for his tractor, but he's put a counterbalance on the back, so that should help a whole bunch. And then we can haul them home and use the bandsaw mill on them. But we're going to continue trying to saw some with the little Alaskan mill. He gets the butt of the log up on the trailer and then gets behind it and just shoves it up and lets it slide in, where he really doesn't have a big enough tractor to just up and set them over the side and set them in. But this is working and working good, so we're going to get some logs home. One log at a time, we load them up on the trailer in order to transport them home, and they're sure one heavy load. If it hadn't been for that ice storm breaking big limbs off them that would have never recovered, they would have just rotted and fallen on the house. We'd have never taken them out, but since we had no other choice, we're taking just the ones out that were badly damaged and not going to recover. One log at a time, we're getting them moved over to where we can use the bandsaw mill on them, and it's a time-consuming process, but we're going to get there. Joe's getting his new chainsaw shafts all hooked up on him and ready to go. We should have done this from the very beginning, and it's really a good practice to have these chainsaw shafts just in case that chainsaw gets against your leg. And if it gets against your leg, it might catch in your pants and draw it in and make a really nasty cut. After the cut, there's a whole lot of suspense. You wonder just what the log's going to look like underneath after you've cut it. And no one's disappointed in this log. The grain on it is very nice, and those knots do nothing but enhance it. Here's a big burrow that he just sawed off this old tree, and there was all kinds of things in this hollow portion of the tree. Where's that pitchfork handle?
Right here in the rock.
Oh yeah.
Got a rock inside there too. Oh, really? Wow.
You really never know what you're going to find in one of these old trees. This one had an ancient pitchfork handle in it, and he hit it with a chainsaw while cutting that burrow piece off. All the wood's rotted out of the pitchfork handle, and then a big old rock was in it. I don't know what the world that was doing in there. It doesn't look like any of the kind of rocks we have around here, so that's kind of a puzzling thing. Maybe somebody had a stash of something in there. Is there anything else in there?
Not yet that I find. There's bugs. Maybe it's something that bite me.
Now the windows need to be washed, and Marge is the perfect one for that job. So we'll try to get the windows washed and get this house ready to rent out. I did try to do my share and wash the windows,
Dust
but
from the
she
road.
claimed that I made more of a mess than I did good, and she'd have to go over it again. So maybe I better just find me something else to do. The house is looking really good now and almost finished. It's almost ready to turn over to property management to do the job of renting it out. And it's a real nice place in a real nice location. So hopefully it's going to work. So since she's about got the windows washed, why don't we just go inside and take a look?
It's got a fireplace and recessed lights and a heat pump, Mr. Cool. That's his door.
And an entrance
And a big
coat closet.
a coat closet and a big entrance. And it's got a kitchen with marble countertop. And it's got a fan with a light. And a patio door with a patio and a big backyard.
A covered patio.
Utility room. The door with a kick plate.
And a double garage.
Got got storage cabinets, place for a washer and dryer. And then it's got
Washer and dryer go here. A shower out here.
a shower, and it's got a toilet and a sink.
Then a large country kitchen. It even has a barbecuer in it, but the barbecuer, it doesn't heat the chimney up good enough, so it can't be used because when it doesn't heat the chimney hot enough, the smoke doesn't get carried out, and so it smokes. So we ask people not to use the barbecuer.
And it's got double sink.
This is a kitchen bar here for
A double sink, and it's got a dishwasher. And it's got a range. And a new fan hood with light.
lots of kitchen cabinets.
And it's got a refrigerator. Got a little pantry. And down the hallway, it's got a linen closet down the hall. And then you go into the bathroom. And it's got a vanity with a sink. And then the toilet. And then there's another vanity with a mirror in it. And then there's a linen closet in the bathroom.
And a separate room for the tub.
Here is where the bathtub is and the shower tub enclosure. And it's got a fan. And then here's the master half bath. And there's a vanity and a toilet and a mirror. And then it's got a nice mirror here. Look at yourself before you get dressed, after you get dressed. Whoops. I'll turn the light on here.
The master bedroom.
And it's got blinds. And it's got a fan with a light.
And large wardrobe closet.
And this is the master bedroom. And then here's one of the bedrooms. And there's blinds in it. And closets. And then the next bedroom has blinds in it. And a closet. I'll shut that out. That should about do it.
Yeah, we've been through it. All in the shade of these giant oak trees, and there's some say that these oak trees, the early Americans took care of these oak trees just because walnuts were an important food source, or not walnuts, I mean acorns were an important food source for them, and these tower to the sky, and on a good acorn year they have a lot of acorns, so the early Americans would have certain members of the tribe that would protect these and take care of them just for food. And the garage, we're just getting ready to clean it out. It's got double garage doors and even a garage door opener. Just an entrance door for the garage. If you don't have to open the big door, you can go in this regular door. And then the covered patio is back here. One of my big projects is to try to preserve this oak grove, and these oak trees are getting extremely old, and so we lose one occasionally from different things, and I'm trying to get those acorns to growing and get some of the same oak trees back again that the Native Americans took care of. And so there are a few little ones starting up, and I'm trying to take care of them, but these oak trees are absolutely huge. And these are the indigenous white oak trees that are growing here. That's good. Giant oak trees. Pitchfork mystery is unfolding in front of us here. Here's the fork itself.
It's
Ooh.
growing.
It's grown right into the log. What's that thing?
Another piece of metal. That's probably what I hit. Yeah, right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, darn.
That pitchfork's probably been there well over 100 years. Yeah, and the rock that was in it, we don't know what the rock meant, but there are no rocks like that on the property. Who knows what else might be in there?
Okay, just a minute. Ready? Grab these. They put it between it?
Apparently, set in the crotch of the tree.